I was shooting for a fight scene, fighting with 12 different fighters that day.
Wow.
19 hours continuously. And few of the fighters were like, what is this, sir? You don't have chicken, you don't have mutton, how will you fight, sir? At the end of it, they were all dead tired. And I was like,
You had that.
anyone else left? They were like, we will try vegan diet like Arvind, sir. Last year, Swiggy's biggest growth in terms of the order was for the vegan orders.
You're so vocal about it and you're so proud of the fact that you're vegan. What has that journey been like?
The journey hasn't been something overnight. I first dabbled with veganism when I was in high school. They took me to a slaughterhouse. After that, I was like, I'm never putting anything non-vegetarian in my mouth, ever. One of the reasons I'm so proud about it is because of the positive impact that it had on me. My endurance has gone up, my athletic ability has gone up, my skin has gotten better, my hair has gotten better. Even if, let's assume, you throw out all the reasons for the environment, for the animals, for the spiritual growth, just the sheer physical changes, that's enough, man.
That makes it worth it. What does being an actor mean to you?
Being able to live 1,000 different lives in a lifetime.
A renowned actor, a professional basketball player, an entrepreneur, and I think India's first vegan superhero. Arvind Krishna, welcome to Sustainability with Shreya.
Thank you
so much for doing this with me. I'm so happy we're finally doing it after all the back and forth.
Very thrilled to be here, and kudos to you for all the amazing work you've been doing, and congratulations for all of that. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you, Arvind. You are, honestly, you're leading the way and you're so vocal about what you do. When I look at you, I think about, I just watched Inside Out 2 recently, the movie. And if you remember Inside Out, Riley's headquarters, emotional headquarters.
Right.
And there are all these emotions. And I think about you playing basketball and being an actor and being an entrepreneur and doing all of these things. What is your emotional headquarters? What does that look like? Which emotion is dominating at what time, and how do you do it all?
I think more than the emotion, it's just the driving force. My main driving force is to have the largest potential sphere of influence that I can have. And I think every day morning, that's what I ask myself, that's what motivates me, that's what excites me. So as an actor, it could be as a basketball player, it could be as an entrepreneur. How am I further expanding my potential sphere of influence? And then what am I doing with it? So more than the emotion, it's what next?
What is that sphere of influence? What do you want your sphere of influence to impact? And what do you want to see out of that?
Change on many levels. And if I'm able to inspire change on many levels, I think I would have done something good with my life.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of emotions behind it, but I'm the kind of person who lets those emotions just build up into actions.
I noticed that on your Instagram bio, your first hashtag says vegan athlete.
Yes.
And a lot of people wouldn't claim that proudly. Even the word vegan, I know so many vegans who, shy away from claiming
vegans.
that. But you, as I said, you're so vocal about it and you're so proud of the fact that you're vegan. What has that journey been like?
The journey's been amazing, and one of the reasons I'm so proud about it is because of the positive impact that it has had on me. And I want people to be able to, experience those kinds of positive impacts as well. But the journey hasn't been something overnight. I first dabbled with veganism when I was in high school. I went to a private boarding school near Boston.
And in the US.
Yeah, this was a long time ago. And there was an entire vegan movement in school. And the prettiest girls in school were leading that vegan movement. And they had asked me, I was a star basketball player on the team. They said, hey, it would be nice if some athletes came and lent their support to this movement. I was like, hey, okay, I'm there. Hey, let's go.
I was sold your face.
So I went, I was part of this vegan group, and every time we would have lunch and dinner together at school. And then over time, I started to learn why they were vegan. And the reasons were very compelling.
Such as?
For the environment, for the animals, for their own spiritual ascension. But soon after being vegan for a few days, I had a few basketball games, and I didn't perform well. I didn't do well on the court at all. And the knee-jerk reaction was, hey, it was because of this vegan diet.
Yeah.
And my teammates were like, bro, you need to start having your, chicken burger and chicken meal and, have your chocolate milk. because we can't have you slip up on the court. We need you
Yeah.
to perform. And being an international student, I had a athletic and academic scholarship, so I needed to perform well on the court, or else I knew my scholarship would probably get cut. So obviously, because I blamed the vegan diet, I went back to eating my chicken and having my chocolate milk. And I don't think it's connected in retrospect, but then it seemed like it was connected. And then I did perform well on the court again. And
Wow.
once the season ended,
Yeah.
some of these very pretty girls again impressed upon me, saying, "Why don't you come? We'll take you somewhere." And they took me to a slaughterhouse.
They took you to a slaughterhouse.
They took me to a slaughterhouse, and after that, I was like, "I'm never putting anything non-vegetarian in my mouth ever." And I became vegetarian after that.
Would you like to talk about what you saw and how that impacted you?
Yeah, I mean, just the sheer cruelty, the sheer, I don't know, animality of it. I mean, I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
It's just, I puked for hours on end after seeing what I did. The sights are still very fresh in my mind and not very pleasant.
Do you think that was extreme? Do you think that was something that was done without consent? And do you think that was extreme and too
I think they
violent?
wanted me to have that kind of a, like shocking sort of reaction and just say, hey, this is what you're putting in your mouth.
Yeah.
You're free to do it. We just want you to know the process of how animals
How
become
food gets to you.
meat and how they become your food.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, no way. And then I became vegetarian. I was vegetarian for many years. And then as I got older, I think my spiritual connect led me to believe that, okay, I'm vegetarian, right? But milk and all these other byproducts from animals is the same amount of cruelty.
100%.
Yeah, and then I said, no, I'm being a hypocrite at some level. And then I said, okay, let me be vegan now. And then I tried, it was very on and off. And then
That's the journey. That's honestly
it
the
is,
journey.
it is.
You're learning. You're trying to get rid of the habits that you have and everything that you've been consuming for so long.
Absolutely.
And it's a learning process. It's a steep learning curve, if
It is.
anything.
And then the flip side of it is, apart from just these reasons, like athletically, I've noticed phenomenal benefits. Like
So that turn from you almost connecting that to, okay, I'm not performing well because I went vegan, to
exactly.
my performances.
And I'm glad it turned, because today I'm the loudest advocate for it, saying my performance on the court, my performance in the gym, my performance even as an actor, they've all increased because there are so many tangible benefits. My endurance has gone up, my athletic ability has gone up, my skin has gotten better, my hair has gotten better. I don't want to sound narcissistic or, it's not some vainglorious statement.
No, it's true.
But these are tangible results that I've noticed.
Yeah.
Ceteris paribus, everything else, the only difference is I'm vegan now and I wasn't. Like, I was doing the same exact thing. I was using the same moisturizer, using the same shampoo.
All the variables.
Yeah,
all the variables
right.
are fixed.
The only difference is, hey, I'm vegan now.
Yeah.
So-
Look at you. You're 39, and then someone just said you look like you're 24. That's
Uncle Arvind here.
Uncle Arvind.
and that's what I tell the guys I play with. I play with guys half my age.
Yeah.
And they're like, you want to come out with us? We're going to have chicken. And they're trying to taunt me. I'm like, son, you have your chicken. I'm going to bust your ass on the court tomorrow. And then we'll see
boy,
what's
you
up.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I also feel like at a personal level, I feel like a much better person.
How so? Because people say vegans have this "I'm better than you" persona.
I'm
Somehow we
better
have
than
this
what
moral.
I was before. My growth is based on me. It's me evolving. It's not about someone else.
Yeah.
I am evolving as a person, and I feel like I'm a much better person than I was before when I wasn't vegan.
How so?
I feel a lot more calmer.
I love your energy. I
yeah.
honestly,
Thank you.
It makes me feel super
you.
calm.
Thank you. I feel a
and
lot
super
more
comfortable.
calmer. I feel like the brain fog is not there as much.
It's clarity.
A lot of clarity. And even in terms of my speech, now I don't think there is a connect, but my speech has gotten better. I'm far more articulate than I was before.
Oh.
Maybe because I'm older and I'm Uncle Arvind, but still, I have noticed a lot of positive. These are intangible benefits of being vegan. Now I cannot necessarily put a marker on it, but these are benefits I've noticed. And my breathing has gotten a lot better. And I think breathing is so important for a better lifestyle. So yeah, these are all benefits that I've noticed.
The hair I noticed, the skin I noticed right away. Same for me. It was like a magic wand. 8 years ago when I went vegan, I'm like, okay, I don't have acne anymore. My hair feels shinier. Like, what is going on?
Correct.
What is? Yeah, but you turn into a nutritionist right away. I think the second you go plant based and you quit meat, you quit. I mean, I never ate meat, but the second you quit all animal products,
Yes.
you have to be so picky about what you eat, what you consume.
Absolutely.
What is your diet look like? What is your how do you balance
So-
nutrition that you're getting and staying fit, staying healthy, because that's so important for your
It
game
is.
and performance.
I think people are very obsessed with protein in general.
Yeah, that's the first question we get, right?
Like, why are you so obsessed? Relax, man. Like at the end of the day, protein is not your primary source of energy at all. It's your carbs,
Yeah.
then your fats, and then your proteins. Proteins have their own purpose. Treat them for that, give them that due respect, and take it. But don't obsess with protein. I feel like that's great marketing that's been done by the meat industries and maybe even the dairy industry. But I feel like if you have the right amount of protein that you should, you're good to go. But ultimately, you need carbs. Like for instance, if I have less carbs as a athlete, I will fail. Like you run up and down that court, the amount of carbs you need is a lot higher than the normal person.
But no one's going to ask a vegan, where do you get your carbs from? It's
Yeah,
always the same
exactly.
old protein question.
And also, like when you have vegan diet, the thermic effect is a lot more, which means that your body is expending a lot more energy to digest it. So you're not probably going to eat as much. That's why a lot of vegans are leaner in general, because they're not eating as much because they're expending more energy digesting their food.
But have your trainers, your nutritionists, your coaches, has anyone advised you against it? Have people told you this is never going to work? Why are you doing this? Which back to this?
Yeah.
Like, has there been a lot of like pushback
Always.
of sorts? And how
Like-
do you fight back?
Like I'm from Hyderabad.
Yeah.
So the Hyderabadis have a very typical way of saying things. So in the gym, when I initially was, vegan, they were like, "अरे क्या हुआ यार? नहीं उठा रहे बेटा आजकल हैदराबाद बिरयानी मटन नहीं खाने लग रहा, नहीं उठा रहे बारे आप." So I should just smile, let it go. So recently it turned out I was in the same gym with the same guys in the same position. So like, क्या हुआ यार? नहीं उठा रहे आजकल बेटा, नहीं उठा रहे आजकल, नहीं खा रहे बिरयानी, खाओ vegan diet खाओ, उठा पाते. Then it was like a mic drop moment for me, and I just left. Like a part of me didn't want to say it, but a part of me just wanted to stick it to them.
Yeah.
Let them know, like, don't be condescending towards somebody who's vegan. You can just be as strong, you can just be as athletic, if
Yeah.
not more. I feel more. Like I'm able to lift way more than those guys now.
Flex for me.
Let's get it. Yeah. But again, I'm not pompous about it,
Yeah.
because I don't think lifting more weights is a sign of anything. It just probably means that you're stronger and progressive overload is working well for you. Great. But don't be pompous about it.
Why do people love to hate vegans? What do you think we do wrong for the attacks and the trolls and the comments and the hate, like, to keep coming our way?
I think some of us
Some of us.
tend to put out a holier than thou sort of vibe.
Persona, yeah.
And I think we tend to be a little preachy. And I wish some of us weren't as preachy about it. And that's one of the reasons I never preach about being vegan.
You're still vocal.
I'm vocal, but I show, I don't tell. So if you see my posts, if you see my videos, I always say vegan athlete, vegan gains. And then that's when people are like, "Oh, he's vegan." They ask me. If I'm in their face saying, "You must go vegan," then no one wants to be told to do anything in today's time and age. That's what I've noticed. I could be wrong. But I feel like if they see and they just see the hashtag vegan athlete, or they see that, oh, it's gluten-free vegan gains, they're like, "Oh, yeah, how did he do it?"
Okay.
You
So
know?
they're more receptive to that.
They're more receptive. Also, like, we live in very interesting times. When I tell people, "Hey, my skin got better, my hair got better," they're so receptive to what I want to say.
Yeah.
But if I say, "Hey, if you change your plate and become vegan, look at the impact that you may have on the environment or on the animals," I don't know.
Yeah. But it doesn't matter how you get there, right? Some people do it for the environment, some people do it for the animals, some people, as you said, like, do it for health reasons.
Exactly.
So whatever.
But the
whatever
byproduct
gets you
is
there.
still having positive impact. So
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, so long as the positive impact is there, I'm happy. And in due course, once I get an audience, once I get their ears, I do tell them that, hey, by doing this, you're also doing this for the environment, you're also doing this for the animals, and you're doing this for your own spiritual growth and your own development as a person.
Have people come and told you that? I watched you and I see your performance and I see that you talk about veganism, and I've quit meat or dairy because of you. Has that happened?
Yes, a lot, and it makes me feel very, very happy. So every year they have this Veganuary campaign. Yeah. So I'm one of the ambassadors for Veganuary.
I saw that. I saw that, right. Really a nice video of you.
That whole month, my inbox is flooded with pictures of people saying, "Sir, I'm here. I'm having this product which is vegan," and I feel happy. And I wish they can continue that throughout the year. But at least I'm glad that for that 1 month, they've gone vegan, and I feel like I've been able to make some difference. But I get a lot of people asking me, "How can we continue? What is the motivation to continue further? How can you help us?" So I try to reply to as many as I can.
But that's impact. That's your sphere of influence that you were talking about. That makes you get up every morning.
And it makes me very happy. Like, among other things that I do, being a vegan advocate is one thing I take a lot of pride in. And I'm so happy that we're having this chat, because I've been watching your podcasts and works, and you've been doing some amazing work in creating such impact.
Thank you. It's the same. I think the more conversations that we have, and if our voices are louder than every other voice out there, that's spreading a lot of misinformation about the industry. True. And what it is and how vegans are weak or game changers. Especially, people thought that it was vegan propaganda.
Right.
Even though it was just about health and performance.
Correct.
And there were so many incredible sports people in that documentary.
Absolutely.
And it really touched upon that masculine side of it. And we have this. Exactly.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, you said louder, which is yes. I also think we should be voices of reason.
That's so important.
More than being a louder voice, let's be more like a voice of reason. Let people see the reason. That's what I believe. Because I'm not one to ever shout over somebody. Or I don't want to compete.
You shouting over anyone.
Yeah, I don't want to compete with somebody else's for someone's audience. I want to be that voice of reason, and people should say, "Yeah, this guy is making sense." And I think if we as a community can do that more and more, people are intelligent. People do want to listen to the right people. It's just that we need to make sure we reach out to them in the way that they best understand. Not how best we communicate, but how best they understand.
100%. Yeah. So the way the message lands and how it lands.
Exactly.
And it's about emotions and empathy, because for me this fight is about it's empathy, it's kindness, but the anger doesn't help. And you're right, we are holier than thou, because I think a lot of vegans, they see the facts and they understand how bad the industry is, and it's the anger that hey, I see it, why doesn't everyone else see it?
Yeah, and they don't, but how can you make them see it? Right? So I think that's the challenge that we as vegans have, or at least those of us who are taking the extra step to be vegan advocates, saying how do we reach out to more people, because ultimately change is what matters to me. It's not me saying this, but how many people am I impacting positively, right? So that is something that I really want our vegan community to focus on, because some of us are belligerent and no one appreciates it.
No, I get that. That's what I mean. There's a lot of hate and there's a lot of trolls and a lot of comments, and this label of us needing to be perfect. And that vegans should be perfect, because as you mentioned, I get comments that if I'm vegan, I'm driving in a car that doesn't have that has leather seats.
Correct.
Right. If I'm sitting in an aircraft and that has leather seats.
Right.
I can't control those things, and I've never said that if I'm vegan, I'm doing everything perfectly, and that I won't make mistakes. Or that as even supplementing, that's such a big thing.
Yes.
Right? How do you feel about being vegan, making mistakes, or being imperfect, or just figuring this out as you go along the journey?
I feel like I don't have a vegan purity meter on my forehead, right? Yeah. It's a work in progress. I am vegan. I try my best. For instance, I wish more car companies made vegan upholstery in their car. They don't make it. I think a few brands are coming out with it soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll be able to afford that car down the line. But I'll as in when whatever I can, I do. I'll give you a very small example. This one brand made shoes for athletes, which were of, I guess, vegan finishing material and all that. I twisted my ankle playing in them. They just weren't good shoes. Now, do you want me to stop playing basketball? Do you want me to injure myself? No. So if the product is perfect, is great, then I will use it. But it's not my fault that there is no company which is making great vegan basketball shoes.
Yeah.
right? I'm sure some company down the line will do it. But till that day, I can't stop playing basketball, Yeah, if they allowed me to play barefoot, I'd do it, but they won't. Or do you want me to like bicycle everywhere because my car
Yeah.
doesn't, So that is, and again,
It's more about us living in an imperfect world.
yes, and also if we are more reasonable, I think the attacks on us also will be more reasonable. Because some of us are not reasonable. They're like, "Hey, in 1947, you wore leather shoes in that movie, man."
I get that. I've got a zoomed in picture of me using a leather bag, and I don't know, way before I was vegan.
Right. So it's almost like being condescending, saying, "Who are you to tell us?" Because they feel preached to. But if we tell them, "Hey, we're trying to be vegan for XYZ reasons. Why don't you give it a shot?" Or just tell them that we're vegan and show them, then I think the attacks will be less personal. It could also be, I don't know, that some of the attacks stem from a place of guilt, from a
Yes.
misplaced sense of, I don't know.
Yeah. They are doing it, or, he can do it, or she
It's
can
possible.
do it. And
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
want to speak for other people, but it's
Yeah.
possible. So that I think that's why we shouldn't ever, be touchy about it.
I
Though
like
it is
that.
it is a matter of great passion for us, and we
Yeah.
are very passionate about why we're vegan. I think that the communication needs to be.
I like that. I'm going to take your approach. I'm going to be this, really calm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do what I do best, and veganism just needs to be that underlying.
Yes, exactly. I'll give you an example. In my superhero movie, I was shooting for a fight scene, and that day we had to wrap it up in that location because there was some problem with the location. I was fighting with 12 different fighters that day.
Wow.
I-
Single-handedly.
Yeah, I shot 19 hours continuously, and few of the fighters were like, "What is this, sir? You don't eat anything, you don't have chicken, you don't have mutton, how will you fight, sir?" This, that. At the end of it, they were all dead tired, and I was like,
You had that.
"Anyone else
yeah.
left?" And that's when I told them, "See, being on a vegan diet has helped me do this.
Yeah.
It's
Your
increased my
endurance.
stamina, my endurance." Now forever those guys will have it in their minds.
You can't argue against that. You can't argue against that. That experience,
So
that
the
lived
next
experience.
shoot, apparently this is what the fight master told me. They were like, "We will try vegan diet like Arvind sir."
Love it. Love it.
And these
That's
are
it.
hardcore like fighters in the movies, like,
Yeah.
and they've been fed to think that they need that meat for them to look that way or for them to perform. But once they saw me do it, they're like, "Yaar, ye hero kar raha hai yaar." Or he fought all of us that whole day. I was
Yeah.
at it. They all had breaks because I fight one fighter, that angle is done, then I'm going. 19 hours straight I did it.
Non-stop.
And at the end of them, I told them, "It's a vegan diet, try it out."
Yeah, you're so right, and it's not even about them looking buff, being sold this lie that they need to eat all of this to look a certain way or feel a certain way. This masculinity, this almost like toxic masculinity that you need to be a carnivore to feel masculine. What do you have to say about that? Because the data is that out of all vegans, only 20%, I think 20 to 25% are men.
Wow.
75% to 80% vegans are women. So that gives you an idea about my dating pool. But anyway, what do you have to say about the whole, being a guy and being plant-based and being, so in touch with yourself and your
Yeah.
emotions and really not, portraying these ideals of toxic masculinity
Yeah.
that I need to, chew that.
Correct.
Chew what? Chew that.
The drumstick.
Yeah, that I need to chew that drumstick as you said to feel like a man.
I feel a real sign of a manly man is in how he treats other people, man. And how he's able to make other people feel more secure and happy about themselves.
Yes.
Right? And I think that is, to me, the sign of being a real man. It's not about, it's not that. It's about how do you make other people better.
Just want you to convert more men vegan, Arvind. Do it for me. Don't do it for anyone else. Do it for me.
For instance, the man of the house, they say it's more of a metaphor. I
Yeah.
don't think it's necessarily just to say that it's a man. It's a metaphor for how you feel in the presence of that person. You
Yeah.
feel safe, you feel secure.
The provider.
The provider, you know that they're there for you. So I think that is more important.
Yeah.
It's not, physicality and vegans. I mean, we can have the physicality. I have the physicality. Like, I'm a 6'2" guy, I'll outmuscle most people I meet.
Yeah.
But that's not what I'm aiming to do. I'm aiming to create positive change in their lives so they can do it in the lives of other people that they touch. Now, that's real impact. That's being a manly man to me. Yeah, but you want to talk about other places where I want to be a manly man? Be my guest. I'm good. Let's go. Let's get it.
I love that balance of, I look at it as like the divine feminine and the divine masculine, and that dance is so beautiful.
Yes,
and you
absolutely.
seem to balance that, in such an incredible way, and I love that. I see the work that you've done emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and that
Yes.
that comes off. And when I say I love your energy, I know that there's a lot of work that you've done to build that.
Definitely, and thank you for, acknowledging it.
I can see, I can feel it.
Yeah, I think the energy doesn't lie, right?
Yeah.
Energy and vibes never lie. Everything else could lie, but energy and vibes don't lie.
Yeah.
And consciously, I have made a very strong effort spiritually. And one of the reasons I became all the more vegan, where I had took a vow, is because I felt a strong spiritual connect and reason for it.
What is the vow?
The vow is to never have anything.
Would never consume anything that comes from an animal.
Yeah, and also dairy.
Yeah.
So, and also I took a vow to never have anything gluten. Now that has no spiritual reason. That is just so my willpower is strong. So there is no reason for me to ever slip up even a little and have it, because we're all human. But I think maybe that vow binds me to be, stronger.
What does the spiritual ascension have to do with you not consuming animal products? Because you said there was spiritual calling, and the more spiritual
Yes.
that you became, the
Yes.
more inclined you were to go vegan. What's the connection?
Because from non-vegetarian to vegetarian, it's obvious. But then I realized the kind of suffering, the kind of pain inflicted, even for products in the dairy industry, is very high. So it's ultimately the same. Like, I cannot be a hypocrite. So I said I'm going to go entirely vegan. And since having gone vegan, in my life, I've noticed a lot of positive changes, even in terms of my career, growth,
Good things coming your way.
God's grace. I think that's an energy that you put out into the universe, and it does come back to you in some way.
No, but I've heard that. I've heard that from a lot of people, that when they started meditating, it just didn't sit right with them. Them eating red meat. Because it's more than ethics, it was about digesting the suffering of another animal.
Correct. Absolutely. And my mom says this a lot. She's like, the mood in which you cook your food is likely to translate.
The energy transfer?
Yeah. She said that. I mean, for a long time I never understood that. But then as I grew older and I started cooking, I started noticing things more. It does matter. Like, it does affect. Like, if you are in a really bad mood and you cook in a certain way, it's likely to affect the person eating it at some level. So imagine the kind of energy the animal might have gone through, the suffering that the animal might have gone through in the last moments. Now, is that not likely to get translated into the food you eat? If a person cooking is in a bad mood and is cooking, and you're feeling the agitation, imagine the animal that you're cooking.
Because it knows it's going to die.
Yeah,
Every
and
animal
the
knows it's
pain,
gonna
the
die.
suffering, and also, like, just from a sheer hormonal standpoint of it, all of these animals are injected with so many unnatural hormones that are they not likely to affect the person eating them? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People talk about processed plant-based meat, and they think the animal meat is natural. I want to scream and shout that the meat that they're consuming is also, it's fed these antibiotics and it's fed
Absolutely. And
these...
so unnaturally, right? The whole process is unnatural. And a lot of people who eat red meat, there are certain reports of them being more aggressive.
Carcinogenic as well. I mean, it is carcinogenic. So.
Yeah, so I mean, is there not a connect? Your health, a lot of it has to do with what you consume. You are what you eat. I know it's like a tag, but yeah,
It's true.
You are what you eat. So I feel like what you eat slowly starts defining you as a person, your personality, your spiritual growth, even your physique. So I've noticed that in a lot of people. Yeah. So I if you think I'm calm, it's also because I eat fairly like sattvic food. And I'm not bragging about it because I just know it's better for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's so Indian in its, its culture, values and roots, and
Correct.
The history of it,
Yeah.
So it's not a foreign concept, it's not Western.
Yes, and
Because-
I'm so glad you said this because a lot of people are like, hey, अमेरिका में रह के तू वीगन बन रहा है यार, क्या है ये मत झाड़ मेरे साथ. I'm like, भाई ये इंडियन फूड, आई हैव द सिंपलेस्ट फूड. एंड दे लाइक तेरे पास पैसे है, तू एक्टर है, उसलिए वीगन बन रहा. I'm like, it has nothing to do with money. In fact, you're spending way more than I am eating your meat or, you know, drinking that milk.
Yeah.
Like, I barely spend money on my food. It's so simple. So I think the myths about vegan food being fancy, vegan food being expensive need to be dispelled first and foremost. Very simple food, man.
What do you eat? What's your favorite food?
Poha is my favorite food.
Poha's favorite.
I love poha. Like, I can have poha in the morning, poha in the evening, poha in the afternoon.
I come from Kolhapur and you get the best kanda pohe in Kolhapur. So next time you're there,
Next time
definitely.
we'll
I
do
know.
sustainability with
Poha,
Shreya.
sustainable poha with
Sustainable
Shreya,
poha.
just for you.
I love poha. And I feel like poha is an amazing dish. You have it, you have the sustained release of energy. And it's not like a high glycemic, you know, carb. It's low glycemic where it's sustained release. It's not like going to spike up your insulin or anything, right? Sustained release. So I love poha. Mix it with tempeh, mix it with some curry, dal, some pulses. I'm good.
People hate like tempeh or tofu. That's the first thing I get. Like, who's gonna eat that? If I say
Why?
that's my protein source, I don't think people know how to cook it. It's the same with, you know, raw meat. If you had that without any vegetables, without any flavor, without any of your masalas that actually come from plants, and if you were to just eat it in its raw, bland state, you would despise it. You would spit it out.
Exactly.
It's the same with.
Have paneer butter masala, right? Have it. Now, instead of the paneer, just put tempeh in it and make it a similar way without the milk. Just put almond milk or something. It'll taste amazing. Like, my tempeh curry is so amazing. I love eating.
You cook?
I cook a little. I'm not the greatest cook, but I'm good. I'm okay.
Survive. Like, you
Yeah.
survive.
And I have a chef who travels with me
Okay.
for shoots, and he does a great job.
You have to veganize him as well, I
Yeah,
imagine, in the
and he
process,
knows
yeah.
what he's like. Sir is very, very crazy. If he
Like,
don't put this, don't put that. You know? Whatever, man. He gives me what I want.
You challenge him as a chef. I like
even
that.
when I'm in like the most remotest locations,
Yeah.
he just has a little stuff and he's make. And I'm a very simple man. Like, my needs are very simple. Give me some tempeh, give me some dal.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm a happy camper.
You know, when people ask me, I'm so glad you brought that up, that vegan food is, it's not expensive. And of course, it has roots and history in Indian culture. Because when people ask me, what do you eat? Some of my favorite breakfast items are South Indian.
Correct.
It is your idli, dosa, rasam, appam, all of these things
Right,
that
right,
are
right.
vegan. What was it like going plant-based and, you know, sort of saying no to, what was it like saying no to, you know, the biryani that Hyderabad is famous for? And so many, it is a meat-heavy culture, community, I imagine. It is meat-heavy diet in that sense. What are the cultural nuances?
It was hard. For a long time, it was very difficult for me to go out with all these people because wherever I would go, I couldn't find options for me because I couldn't say, give me the biryani, you know, without the chicken or mutton.
Yeah.
And a lot of the places where you also have your dosas, they tend to add ghee. It was always like that. So you have to tell them, please don't add ghee or please don't add any butter. Now things are a lot better where they don't add ghee unless you ask them to add it.
Okay, that's good.
Which is good.
Yeah.
So things are changing. But for a long time, it just meant I wouldn't hang out with my guys and eat with them. It was hard because while I have no, I'm not giving in to any temptation. It's just that I didn't want them to feel like, oh, this guy's hanging out with us, but he's not eating. I wanted them to just have their own, you know, time and enjoy it without me being there and being imposing and sitting there and not eating it.
Yeah.
But having said that, a lot more places are far more friendlier now. They understand that, you know, this guy cannot have it, so they'll go ahead and replace it. I'll give you a very small example, not just about Hyderabad. A few years ago, about 10 years ago, I was in Switzerland, then I was in France, or I was in Italy. And whenever I would tell them to give me something vegan, they would just give me like a chicken burger. They would remove the chicken and just give me like the lentils and the tomatoes with the burger.
That's it. Yeah.
And for them that was okay, but they didn't realize that, hey, that chicken was, you know, rubbing against all this food.
Yeah.
And that was the kind of sensitivity that I had experienced. But this time, I went very recently, last year. I traveled to the exact same 3 countries. They have vegan restaurants, vegan menus. So look at the evolution there. So similarly, like even in Hyderabad, a lot of places have become more open. A lot there now. Vegan restaurants also have
Vegan restaurants opening as well.
specific vegan restaurants have opened up. And even if it's not a vegan restaurant, on the menu they have, separate vegan section.
Yeah.
So that's a great win for us, right? Because just 10
Definitely.
years ago I couldn't experience all this, but now I am.
Yeah.
So it shows that people are more receptive to our needs and are acknowledging them. And also, in the world of business and commerce, without there being a demand, they're not going to change their menu or cater to our
Not
menu.
at all.
So
It is.
clearly there is a
They're driven by
demand.
money.
Exactly. Last year, Swiggy's biggest growth in terms of the order was for the vegan orders. They
No
saw the
way.
maximum, 150% growth in
Yeah.
their vegan orders.
No, there are a lot of people playing a role in this, as you said. There's dietitians and nutritionists recommending that people go, lactose-free or gluten-free
Exactly.
or try a plant-based diet. So there's so many shifts and factors pushing the movement from different directions,
Totally.
and we need that. We need that.
Because at the end of the day, the commerce aspect of it, the business aspect of it also need to show results
Yeah.
for more brands to be sustainable, for more brands to grow.
Yeah.
And sometimes my heart goes out for certain brands that are just starting out and don't see the kind of traction that they should see, but they have a great USP with their product.
Yeah.
But
you need the scale and you
you
need the market size,
exactly.
for
But
you to
I
sustain.
think the next few years, the vegan market space is going to grow a lot.
I hope so.
And
I really hope so.
yeah, I think it will. No, I think it will definitely. I see that trend happening already.
Yeah.
Vegan in terms of food, in terms of fashion, in terms of skincare. Like I know certain brands have gone entirely vegan now,
Yeah.
including some very large brands.
And I hope that becomes the default, that's just not even a question or a label or a criteria anymore. It's just the norm.
Absolutely.
And I'd love to see that. You mentioned that you stopped going out and, you stopped seeing like, certain friends because you didn't want to be the odd one out. Did you ever feel like a sense of, hey, I'm different, or, I feel weird because I'm doing something else that nobody else is doing? Did you ever lose the sense of belonging?
No, because I knew the reasons driving me to be vegan were very strong. So I just felt like I think it's a sacrifice I'm willing to, pay.
Yeah.
Because, ultimately I know the reasons why I'm vegan are very strong. Even if, let's assume, you throw out all the reasons for the environment, for the animals, for the spiritual growth, just the sheer physical changes, man. I'm able to perform better on the court. I'm able to perform better on screen. I'm more energetic through the day. That's enough, man.
That makes it worth it.
So at the end of the day, forget everything else. Let's assume you just want to talk results and stuff. I'm doing it, right? So
Yeah.
why not?
I read this somewhere that you said being vegan is like dating. What does that mean? What's the
It's like dating.
connection?
This is what I tell people. This is the
Because
pitch.
being vegan is like no dating. Trust me. That's who is that to date?
This is the pitch I gave certain people. So it's like dating, right? You try it out, it didn't work out, doesn't mean you're gonna stop dating, right? So give veganism a shot. It doesn't mean you're gonna stop eating food in general, right? But give vegan food a shot. I think it's worth it. It's like going after the prettiest girl ever. You tried, right? Hey, if you landed her, hey, you're a happy camper.
Yeah.
If you didn't land her, then hey, at least you tried, bro.
That's it. What's the worst?
That's what I tell people about veganism. It's like give it a shot, but give it a serious shot. Don't just be
Yeah.
like half about it.
Yeah.
Give it a serious shot, and you'll see the results.
What have you learned from basketball that you take to your acting career and vice versa?
So in the movie field, there are 24 different crafts that work together to make a film. On the basketball court, what I've learned most about is being collaborative, learning to accept your teammates for what they are, and then ensuring they bring their best. Because you realize that your team is only as strong as its weakest player. So similar types of leadership qualities I bring onto the set. And fortunately, even in the movie industry, I'm the lead guy. So in Telugu, they call him the hero. So I'm the lead guy. So the business of the movie, a lot of things revolve around the lead actor. So you have to be a leader, like you're motivating everyone to reach that goal. So that's very similar how it was for me on the basketball court. For whatever reasons, maybe my coaches always thought I was mature. They always made me the captain of whatever team I played.
Uncle Arvind.
Yeah, Uncle
All the way
Arvind.
through.
I was, so those similar leadership qualities I bring onto the movie sets as well. And it's also like when you give people that platform. So this is what I believe in. What is the greatest gift you can give somebody? in my opinion, the greatest gift you can give somebody is the ability for them to see their own potential and talent. Like, you don't need to help somebody, man. Just make them see how good they can possibly be. See the potential in them and make them realize it. So I do the same on the movie sets. I do the same on the basketball court.
Yeah.
And because I have been blessed to have great coaches and great captains when I was starting out, who've taught me this. So I've learned from the best, and I try to pass it on to, the teams that I work with.
What are the 3 greatest life lessons your coaches and mentors have taught you?
First one, the strength of the wolf is the pack, and the strength of the pack is the wolf. So respect every member of the team equally. Even now, for instance, if our makeup artist hadn't done a good job with you and me,
you didn't need anything.
No, this wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
If the lighting wasn't set well, this wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
If the camera angles weren't good. So everyone's job is equally important for the whole product.
Yeah, it's the collective.
It's collective. So respect everyone for what they're doing, and know that without them, you're not where you are.
100%. I don't think what I do is possible without a team. It takes so much work.
Exactly.
And I don't believe in this aspect of, anyone, when they, I don't believe in anyone being self-made. When people say I'm a self-made billionaire, or, I'm a self-made XYZ, I was like, no, you're not self-made. Your team makes you. Someone cooks for you. Someone drives you. Somebody stitched the, outfit that you're wearing.
Absolutely.
So to not acknowledge, and even for you to be, an artist or an influencer, it's your audience who makes you. It's your followers. You are selling a product. So whatever you're doing, it's the power of the collective. And there's no us without, there's no self without the, without
said.
people driving that.
And that's one of the best lessons that I've learned from my coaches. Value your teammates, because when they know that they're valued, they'll also give it their best. And you will grow with them, they will grow with you.
Oprah Winfrey wrote this book. It was called What I Know for Sure. And that book was about, things that she's taken away from every chapter of her life. So that was my way of, asking, what do you know for sure? And what are, these life lessons, and something that you take away from 39 years of your life?
The second lesson is trust in the process. Because I think the process is very, very important. It could be when you turn vegan. It could be when you want to be an athlete, when you want to be an actor. Trust the process and believe that the results will come. More often than not, people quit too early. People give up too early. You've got to believe in the process of it and the vision for the process. That's the biggest lesson that I've learned in my life. That's the second one. And the third one is, this is a little personal, but this is what I believe. Our talents are God's gift to us, or the universe's gift to us. What we do with those talents is our gift back to God, or our gift back to the universe.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, so that drives me. That's the greatest lesson in my life. So if I'm endowed with a particular skill set or a talent, I know it's the universe's blessing. Now, what am I doing with that blessing? I know a lot of people who are very talented who just waste it.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you feel like, Arey, you're so talented, I don't have it. Why aren't you doing something with it? Some people are like, Arey, I didn't want it, I got. I'm like, no, but you have it. Be grateful for it and do something about it. So I think that's what I believe in. Like, my talents are God's gift to me. What I do with them is my gift back to God.
So you feel like you're tapping into your purpose and your calling, and you're living that truth every day.
Yes. And I think that's what drives me also.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Wow.
Thank you.
But a lot of people are about, I want to accumulate so much wealth for me, and then I'll give back. I want to do this for myself. And the entire purpose of human life is just to, look after yourself. So not a lot of people hone into the giving back and the reciprocity side of
My
it.
point is, you have to be somebody big enough to give back.
Yeah.
So you're anyhow going to have those comforts, or anyhow going to have those accumulations.
Yeah.
But to have that thought process saying, I'm blessed with something, it's also like an attitude of gratitude, right?
Yeah, it is.
A lot of people are not grateful for what they have.
Yeah. And that, ties back to you using your platform and the voice that you have and the following that you have, the sphere of influence, as you said, to use that for better, to use that for good, to use that for something that's bigger than you.
Absolutely.
Do you like, fans cheering for you? Do you like the attention? Do you like the validation? Has that, fame changed over time? The way you look at fame?
More than validation,
The
I
appreciation.
enjoy being in that moment, and I enjoy sharing that moment with more and more people. So if the fame is allowing me to do that with more people, I'm happy to do it. Because they'll probably forget a lot of things, but they'll not forget that moment and how they felt in that moment.
Yeah.
So even when I play, I go, hi-fi all my fans. I just, I get them involved. And it's the same thing with me as an actor. When I go meet fans, I never refuse selfies. I never refuse. Ultimately, but also just the sheer aspect that that person is leaving aside his or her ego and wanting to support me says a lot about them, and I should be grateful to them, and I respect them for who they are. And that's why a lot of, even some of my managers keep telling me, don't be so active on social media and reply to people. I'm like, that's a real person sitting there, man, who's taken his time or her time and written to me thinking about it. So I, at the least I can do is reply to them, because if I sent a message to somebody and they didn't reply, I'd feel horrible. So why should I make someone else feel that way? So as much as I can, I reply to my fans, I reply to well-wishers. And it's a great way of connecting to people. Ultimately, I want a large potential sphere of influence.
Yeah.
And once I get it, if I start acting like, what's the point? That's not why I want a large sphere of influence.
That's
I want
literally
to
what
connect
people
with
think of stardom. When people think of stardom, and they think that you should be more inaccessible and you should be more detached, and that's what increases your value as a star.
I think you should be more detached to the things that come with fame, not detached with the people that brought you there.
What do you mean things that come with fame?
Like material things that come with fame. I think you should be more detached. Like there should be an evolution in your mindset. Not like, oh, I have more fame, so I'm going to buy bigger cars and have more security. Yeah, have security for your safety, but don't do it just to show that you're a bigger star. I know some people who do that.
Yeah.
Like if he comes in with 3 bodyguards, he's not as big a star, but he comes in with 12 or he's a big star. How does it matter, man? Like ultimately, without these people watching you, you're nobody. Right? So ultimately, you want the validation, but then you want to show that you don't want the validation. Like even this is something that might be a little controversial. Like I know a lot of people who call the paps
Yeah.
at certain locations, and they're like, hey. I'm like, you called him, bro. Like, and I'm like, don't do that, because people are not foolish, right? They'll understand at the end of the day. Be real. Whatever you are, good, bad, ugly, be real, man. Because I think there's too many fakers out there. Just be yourself. You don't need to be fake about it.
Yeah. I wish the rest of the Bollywood was like you and thought the way that you do, and was also as vocal, because not a lot of people use their platforms. When you were talking about giving back and using your talents,
Yes.
not a lot of people use that platform to be vocal about anything that they believe in.
Correct. And I think, like I said, you get one opportunity to live a good life. Lead the best life you can.
Yeah.
That's what I believe in. So,
what does being an actor mean to you?
being able to live 1,000 different lives in a lifetime. Like as an actor, I'm able to do so many different things.
Yeah.
And have so many experiences that I otherwise wouldn't have. But if all those experiences make me a better person and can translate on screen to move the audiences even for a split second, I'm happy. Because that's all it takes. Like the audience can be happy during a split second, he can be sad, he can be motivated. If I'm able to do that on screen, I'm happy. I'm not saying all my movies are going to be, award-winning films. But I'm saying even if I can give you some laughter or some joy for just a few split seconds through my craft on screen, I think I've done my job well. Yeah.
Wow.
Because you're immortalized on screen.
Yeah.
Like for generations, like they'll be able to see me on screen. So take that with a lot of gravity, because it's a serious thing.
Tell me about your upcoming movie. Tell me about the superhero role that you're playing.
My superhero movie is something that I'm very, very passionate about. I'm also the creative producer for the film.
Is that the first? Is that a
It's
first
the
one?
first time that I've ever gotten creatively involved in the process,
Yeah.
because I've always felt, at some level, as an actor, I did what best I could, but
What's
other
next
places,
for you?
I felt like maybe the movie didn't do as well as it should have. So now I'm creatively involved, and the hashtag is Apna Superhero. In Telugu, it's Mana Superhero. So it's a very native superhero story because we don't have an Indian origin superhero story.
Yeah.
So it's East meets West. It's, you know, deeply entrenched in our mythology and our history, but we also have a lot of science fiction and modern technology that's brought in. So it's a great amalgamation
And
of
that sounds
these
like a
two.
beautiful marriage of everything that you described.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we are really looking forward to the audiences connecting with the rooted emotions in the story, and also giving them a super cool superhero.
Wow. As I said, India's first vegan superhero.
Yes,
Uh,
I hope that's the moniker I get.
yeah, living it, embodying it.
It's
Brilliant.
it's also a sense of great responsibility, because when I saw my son when he was born, that's the first feeling I got, that I want to be, in his eyes, a superhero. I always want to be the superhero to my son. Like, he should idolize me, and that's the first feeling that I got when I saw my son. And that's when I signed the movie as well, when I got the offer.
Wow.
And I said, okay, yeah, if I want my son to think that I'm his superhero, I want him to look at me as a superhero. I think if I can do that for more people, then nothing like it. So it's a very ambitious ask, but yeah, at least for my son, in his eyes, I always want to be his superhero.
Oh, I'm sure you are.
Yeah, so it's like a great sense of responsibility in terms of how I conduct myself, and how I do things I do. A lot of people ask me, you're 39, why are you still playing?
Yeah.
All the guys who played with me are coaches now. But I'm like, I want my son to grow up and watch me play. So he doesn't need to look anywhere else for role models, that I am there and at home. So that's what pushes me. That's what pushes me to be more competitive on the court. That's what pushes me to work out and play and have this great diet, because I want to grow old and still play, and I want my son to see me.
And know that you did that. As you said, you want him to decide for himself.
Yeah.
You want your son to decide what he chooses, how he eats,
Exactly.
what he does with his life.
But at least he'll have a role model, or at least I'm trying to be his good role model at home. He doesn't need to look elsewhere
yeah.
for that inspiration. And if I can motivate my son, I'm sure I'll be able to motivate some other people as well. That's what drives me, at least.
What's your superpower, you think?
Being able to identify the potential in people way before others have. I genuinely feel like I have that skill set. The other superpower that I have is I'm very rational. Now, it's a very pompous statement to make.
No, I see though. I see the logic, because as I said, like a biotech student, you have that math science background as well, and then you do this creative thing, and you also do this athletic thing. So I do see that
Yes. So
come in, play together.
correct. So I tend to be very rational about the decisions that I make. So me playing at 39, while it sounds like an emotional decision, it is also a very rational decision, because it's keeping me fitter, it's keeping me healthier, it's keeping me looking younger and feeling younger.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has all these benefits.
That's
So I'm thinking rationality is one of my key
superpowers. Arvind, what does sustainability mean to you?
Sustainability is leaving the planet at least half as good as our parents left for us, for our future generations. We owe it to them, man. Like, if you only think about us, that's very selfish, right? Something sustainable has to be good for your future generations. Like, for me now that I'm a father, there are so many things I'm scared of. Like, I don't want my son to go to certain places because I know how dirty it is. But down the line, things are going to get worse and worse. Like global warming, climate change, so many issues are there, and we are all responsible for it.
Yeah.
So sustainability for me is ensuring that the future generations don't suffer because of us. And now that I have a son, I want him to have the best. And I know I'm not doing a great enough job to do it. So I have to pull up my socks and say, what more difference can I make so the future generations have something? Or else they'll curse us, man. Like, we are so grateful for our parents for giving us such an amazing opportunity, amazing life. Our kids should be as fortunate too, or at least think they're as fortunate. And we're not doing a great job of leaving them a good future, man. So many kids today have all kinds of, they can't even go out and play nowadays. So much pollution, so much violence outside. So sometimes as a father, I'm so scared sometimes. Like, I cannot send my son out Very scary sometimes. 20 years ago, there were so many places for kids to play, open green spaces. Where are they today?
Buildings.
Exactly. Right? And the interaction with animals before used to be a lot more. Hardly any now. So my point is like, where are these kids going to learn all the skills that we learned in our childhood? We had such an amazing, fun childhood.
Yeah.
Because the world was open for us. But for the kids, it's not. This summer, the kids couldn't step out. Just a few months ago, it was so hot.
Hottest summer we've had till date.
The poor kids want to come out of the house. They need to play in the ground, right? They need to play. Like, everything is so, I don't know, spoiled now. Our generation, previous generations, they never had B12 issues. Never. Our parents probably never had issues with their health or minerals and vitamins because the food had it. The ground, soil had it.
The soil had
Now,
the
now kids, nothing, right? B12 is supposed to come from the soil.
Yeah.
Playing with dirt and playing, we don't know all that now. So I worry, like, what will my son have? And then what about down the line? So sustainability for me is, how are we as a people evolving? Are we actually evolving? Yeah, technologically maybe we are. Maybe, we're figuring out all these cool things. But look at the conditions in which we're living. That's not evolution. Like, 20 years ago, I could walk around, breathe nicely. Like, so many kids today have breathing problems.
Yeah, it's like smoking. That's what they say. Smoking, breathing air here is like smoking.
So that is not sustainable to me. And that's not growth. So what can we as a people do to control all of that?
Yeah.
And they have all these pacts, they have all these
treaties and conferences.
And treaties, but I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. And so many people are afraid of having children because of that. So many people are opting not to have kids because they don't know what planet we're going to leave for them.
And I'm sorry to say this, a lot of people are not able to have children because of all these issues, like pollution.
Yeah.
Like diets, like lifestyle changes. A lot of men are not able to conceive. A lot of women are not able to conceive. Not because they don't want to, but because they're not able to. Because of all these changes in the world around us. And it's unfortunate.
No, it affects the reproductive health. You're absolutely
it does,
right.
Absolutely it does.
That's what it is. For me, climate crisis is a health crisis. First and foremost, it's going to affect us. It's not about anything or anyone else.
Exactly. Look out for yourself, man. At least, but I don't know. I think our messaging needs to be better.
Yeah.
That's. I think we need to now take the onus and say, let's do more. Maybe we're not doing enough.
Oh, we're absolutely not doing enough.
Yeah. So how can we do more? How better can we send that message out? And I know it's a little morbid of a message, but that's the reality. Like, our parents did a great job giving us a lovely childhood and all this opportunity. We need to do the same for our kids. Yeah, so that to me, that's sustainability.
Beautiful. Arvind, any message to any young athletes, anyone trying to try a plant-based diet, anyone in the acting space, any words of advice to anyone listening to this?
I would say, give it a go. Don't give up in the initial days, because you will notice certain changes. It's your body ultimately. It's not a machine. But be consistent for about a month, and I guarantee you will see good benefits. And then, be honest with the benefits. Be honest with yourself. Don't lie, and don't fall for the marketing of the meat and dairy industries. Give veganism a serious try. Give a plant-based diet a serious try. And be honest with yourself and your body. And I think your body will thank you for it.
And you can look like that at the end of it. That's
Hopefully.
The selling point. That's literally the selling point.
Certainly you will. If not better, I'm sure you'll look far better. I'm an old uncle now, so.
Okay. Uncle Arvind, thank you so much for this chat.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed this. I've had such a good time.
Likewise.
This ये Bengal में नहीं मिला. At least the
नहीं,
conversation,
बिल्कुल नहीं
right?
मिला,
Am I using?
अच्छा गया यार वो, मस्त करे. फाड़ दिया अपन लोग.
Thank you so much, Arvind. Again,
so much,
just
and
your energy. There's just so much light, and the love and light that you bring about in this world. I'm so grateful, and good luck for your movie.
Thank you so much, and
I can't wait for.
We get to do more sessions down the line, and
absolutely.
It's amazing that people like you are the real change makers, and continue doing what you're doing, and more power to you.
It's the collective, as you said. It's it's both of us in the same fight, fighting the same fight.
Fight the good fight.
Yeah, fighting the good fight,
Let's
as
do it.
always.
Yes.
Bigger
Thank-
superhero.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Arvind.
thank
Appreciate this. I feel like there's a live audience going on here. Like we're doing like a live podcast
Yes.
with live audience. वो paid actors होते हैं ना,
हाँ.
so you'll clap for sound effects.
Hey, please cheer for us when we get the
Yeah.
awards, though.
Please. Don't.
There's no action. Let us continue whatever
However we are talking.
Oh man.
It's okay, we have too much.
I love when the American hymn comes out. It's so cute.
Yeah, Amy's
it's very cute. Huh? Amy, what? Sorry.
Amy said that too.
Yeah.
She's like suddenly
Literally.
like this American will come out. I'm like,
Yeah, you don't know what you're getting. You don't know if you're getting the basketball side. You don't know if you're getting the actor. You don't know if you're getting the American, the biotech student. Like,
yeah.
it's or the Hyderabadi. Exactly. That was.
Layered chap he is.
What was it like being plant-based in Andhra, in Hyderabad, where of course
Yes.
biryani is so popular?
Yes.
What are the cultural nuances and how have you fought those? Was it hard to sort of? I'm gonna ask that again. Sorry.
That's a good question actually.
It was what was it? I was in a good line and
You
I
were
sort
at
of I got a
cultural nuances. You peaked in your
cultural
question.
nuances.
That was
Yeah,
great.
that was it.
Like
That was my peak.
food and
It just made me hungry. What was it like going plant-based and sort of saying no to Hyderabadi mani? What? You are gifted. Your talents are God's gifts, and what you do with them is your gift back. Do I?
Mic swing. That's a new one. The mic swing.
Something funny.
Yeah, I want something funny. Arvind can be.
I'm a
be
funny
very
guy.
funny. You're a funny guy, right? Convincing us on the camera. It's like, guys.
When we play basketball, we often get fouled a lot, and sometimes the referees don't see it. So now I'm very, very like articulate about how I ask for it. I'm like, come on, bro. So my theatrics on the court are a lot.
So you're just dramatic.
I'm very
Drama queen. Shooting? Oh, okay, rolling. Sorry. In your.
अरे कितना चिकन खाता है यार और पूरा बैंगन में मिला दिया तुम्हारा बॉडी वीगन खाओ देखो दुरुस्त रहो.
Can't keep a straight face and continue.
The photo is just me kneeling down and them standing.
Wow.
And it took us like 5-6 attempts.
You have to figure this
and
out.
they kept trying and they were getting embarrassed. I said, it's okay, don't worry. I'll just kneel down. You guys stand. It's okay.
Yeah, that would be us when we try to take a picture right now. I think you would
No,
have
but
to be
you're
sitting.
fairly tall, but those.
What are you talking about? I'm 5'2".
Average
It's half of your height. That's not average. It's literally half. Imagine me going to see my auntie tomorrow and saying, "Auntie, I want a guy who's vegan, doesn't eat meat and dairy, loves animals, probably wants
This
to
is very tough. Beta. This girl is very picky.
I need to be flexible and compromise. That's what I want to hear. So
Thoda compromise karna
yeah. So see, my auntie's not gonna like that. Absolutely not.
There is enough evidence to show men that eat a lot of meat to have issues with hair
Receding hairline, really?
and their skin. And at least I'm okay.
You're doing great.
I'm okay. So worst case scenario, that's what the argument comes down to. I'll say yeah. ठीक है भाई तुम खाओ अपना चिकन मटन मेरे बाला तो है भाई मेरे बाल बच गए हैं.
I can't talk to this guy seriously. I just cannot.